there's maybe no more important trait in life than resilience, because life is so unpredictable. And like, is that great quote that the only thing that you can control is how you respond. I can't control what you're going to say next, what's going to happen today, what news I'm going to get from family, friends, anything. All I can control is how I respond to a situation. And if you build resilience, then you develop that ability to respond in a proactive or an efficient way. I've never had resilience in my life. As I said, I ran from everything beforehand, and that's what I'm trying to discover now through putting myself through these like extreme as fuck situations, is just to learn how to become resilient, so that when life turns cruel for me, when a family member passes, when a job doesn't go my way, when I lose a partner, I have this armour within my heart and within my brain to be like, all right, you've gotten through something really difficult before. You know what it's like to go through pain. Be resilient here and push through, and you'll come to better times.
I want to come to a segment of the podcast, which is a consistent theme now. It's called 5 Questions and 5 Answers. And it's the same 5 questions and answers for most of the guests. And today I want to run through those with you, because I think you're going to have some great answers for this stuff. So first question that I always ask is there a book or a podcast, if you could recommend only one to the audience, that they should read or listen to?
Yep, definitely. I would say a book for me that has taught me a lot of things, and a person in general who would, I'm sure your listeners would be very familiar with, would be David Goggins. Hence some of the chin up challenges, swimming challenges and things like that. So his book Can't Hurt Me is one that, as weird as it might sound, I actually sleep next to the book every single night. And I reread chapter 10 of that book, which is him speaking about his chin-up challenge, where he did 4,030 chin-ups in about 17 hours and held the world record. But his story, I mean, if I can be 1/10 of the determined man that he is, I think I'd be very successful in my life. His story is similar to mine. He's been through much more hardship than I ever have been, and has achieved things that I couldn't even dream of. But his story of starting from rock bottom and feeling like a piece of shit, and then actually opening up about your own insecurities and trying to work on it through struggle, through resilience, through learning to overcome, is exactly what I try and promote and encompass within my own life. So the book Can't Hurt Me. He's actually got another one coming out. I'm not sure what date, maybe late this year or early next year. A second book, which I can't wait to read. But just listening to his story, like, it's impossible not to want to run through a fucking wall when you read his book, because you're like, well, shit, he was that. Like, he was fucking pathetic. That's his words.
Yeah.
And now he's maybe the toughest motherfucker on the planet. So if he can do that, what's my excuse?
100%. I love that. And it was, personally, I listened to it, one of the favorites. Very good. The second question I have is there an attribute you've developed or a skill that you're in the process of trying to master that has significantly improved the quality of your life?
I think I've used this word quite a few times, but I think resilience. I think resilience is a trait that there's maybe no more important trait in life than resilience, because life is so unpredictable. And like, is that great quote that the only thing that you can control is how you respond. I can't control what you're going to say next, what's going to happen today, what news I'm going to get from family, friends, anything. All I can control is how I respond to a situation. And if you build resilience, then you develop that ability to respond in a proactive or an efficient way. I've never had resilience in my life. As I said, I ran from everything beforehand. And that's what I'm trying to discover now through putting myself through these like extreme as fuck situations, is just to learn how to become resilient, so that when life turns cruel for me, when a family member passes, when a job doesn't go my way, when I lose a partner, I have this armor within my heart and within my brain to be like, all right, you've gotten through something really difficult before. You know what it's like to go through pain. Be resilient here and push through, and you'll come to better times.
Mate, that is so bang on. That there is going to be the trailer for the podcast. Like what you said just there, to me, resonates so highly. It's this, I don't know if you've heard the Tony Robbins quote, pain is inevitable, suffering is a choice. And I feel like what you just alluded to is like how you choose to suffer builds and develops that attribute of resilience, that trait that allows you to face things in life, knowing full well that you'll still experience the pain, but you are resilient enough to get through it. I think that is maybe also the thing that people don't fully understand is that people have this idea that like, oh, once I become like a Goggins style character, or once I start tackling challenges and conquering them like Connor is, then nothing will be painful. Oh, it's always painful. But it's like you're just better equipped to deal with it, which is the key.
Always.
I love it.
And
I love it so
that's
much.
a beautiful quote you just read out. That's the thing. Pain will always be there, but I would rather go through pain deliberately than pain put on me by something or someone else in my life. If pain's going to happen regardless, then shit, let's fucking run head first at it, and let's learn how to master or become comfortable with it, understand what pain looks like, so that the next time when pain hits me in the back of the head with complete like king hit, whatever you want to call it, I'll be better prepared to kind of keep myself afloat.
For sure. The third question I have for you, Connor, is what's the biggest challenge? And I sense that there's probably like an answer that's a common theme amongst today's conversation, but what's the biggest challenge you've faced that's required the most growth to overcome?
I think for me, the physical challenges are extremely difficult, and to sacrifice and put your body through what I've put myself through across the walk, the swim I did, and then this chin up challenge now is so difficult. But the biggest challenge for me is always just in here. It's just in my head. It's every day I ask myself if I'm capable. Every day I ask myself if I can still do this, if I'm good enough, if I'm strong enough. And every day I have to try and make that choice or come to that term of like, yes, you are. So for me, the physical stuff that's a distraction almost from the bigger issue of me just as a human being within my mind, trying to become confident and trying to get to a stage where I actually feel proud of myself for not running away like I used to. That's a challenge that still hits me smack bang between the eyes every single day. And that's by far the biggest thing that I'm trying to still work through, despite all the things that I've, achieved and money that I've raised and people that I've potentially inspired. I'm still trying to inspire myself, and that's my biggest goal.
Yeah, it's beautifully said, brother. My fourth question for you is there a habit or a ritual that forms a part of your daily routine that you think powers you to have the success in these newfound ventures that you're having?
I start every single day. I have now for about probably 200 odd days in a row, give or take a couple where I was a bit under the weather, but 200 or so odd days in a row of 6 a.m. going in the ocean. So again, I'm privileged enough to live within a 5-minute drive of the water. And that's just such a beautiful way to start my day, because it sucked for the majority of those days, especially in winter in Melbourne is awful. It was 8, 9, 10 degree mornings. There was a couple of 1 and 2 degree mornings actually, where you're actually warmer in the water
For
than
sure.
outside. But the biggest thing that's taught me, other than resilience, is gratitude. And now I can sit by the fire with mum at 6:30 at night while she's just watching the news, and I'm like, fuck, this is beautiful right now. This is actually an unreal feeling. Just me sitting there with my mum. We're not even talking. We're just doing our own thing. But I think, fuck, on 12 hours ago, you're in the cold water. Think how much that sucked, and think how good it is now to actually just, even right now, just be in a comfortable room. It's fucking middle of the day on a Wednesday, Thursday. Like, life is not that bad. And putting yourself through that, again, that deliberate suffering, it teaches you gratitude. If I can do that every single day with that discipline, you learn a hell of a lot about yourself.
Now, I hope I'm getting this right. It's a cold water club, right?
Correct. Yes,
And is that open to everyone?
it's open invite. So we do 6 a.m. Monday to Friday. And then our kind of big day is 10 a.m. on a Sunday down at Frankston at Oliver's Hill, for all the people from the Peninsula or Melbourne that are listening. Absolute open invite. There's no expectation. There's no judgment. It's just a bunch of people that want to improve themselves, want to go out of their comfort zone, and want to be a part of something that, you're surrounded by other people who are probably similar to yourself, other people who have suffered, other people who are self-conscious. There's no dressing up. There's no makeup. You're getting smacked in the face by a wave. You look like an idiot, whatever. It's just part of it. But it's absolutely open invite. And we've built a fucking amazing community down there of people that just want to be better.
Well, I know that's on Instagram. So for anyone who's down in that area or stopping by through that area, wants to give it a crack, definitely hit them up, and I'll do the same next time I'm down. My last question for you is my favorite question. It's the one that I always get really excited for. And it's the question of, if you could share one message with the world and encourage them to act on it, what would that message be?
definitely the message that I would want the world to know is don't be afraid to chase your goals and don't be afraid to fail. Um, you don't have to be Superman. You don't have to be special. You don't have to be gifted. You can have, the shit you've been through with your own health concerns growing up, adversity I've faced. You don't have to be special to do special things, but you have to believe in yourself enough to actually give it a try. There's a world in which I get to this 3-1-3-9 chin ups and I fail. I do 1,000 and my arm snaps, or I tear something in forearm and I'm done. But I'm not afraid of failure. I've worked 10 months to get to this stage where I'm in a position now to just have a fucking crack. And worst case scenario is I fail and you move on from there. But don't be afraid to chase, because so many people that suffer mental health battles, in my opinion, are people that don't have purpose. And purpose gives you everything. Purpose has given me a reason to get out of bed, a reason to go to the gym, a reason to eat well, surround myself with good people. I have purpose to achieve a goal of 3-1-3-9 chin-ups and raise $20,000 plus for charity. And that's just it's not a tangible thing. It's just something in my head I've decided I want to do. Give yourself purpose. We're coming into a new year in 2023. Set out what the fuck do you want to do in December of next year? And what can you work for 10 months, 11 months to achieve? Why are you afraid of failing?
I fucking love that so much, brother. I'm so inspired by your efforts to not only improve your own life and to inspire yourself, but to serve others in the process. I'm fully behind you. And I think by the time this episode comes out, we will be around 25, 26 days out from your massive challenge. So I want to encourage everyone listening to this to get behind you. I'm going to make sure that your social links are in the show description here in the notes. So people, get over there, give him a follow, give the man some love, give him the flowers he deserves in this process and on this quest. We'll call it a quest because quests are open-ended. Like you said, there's no finish line to this incredible life that you're living, man. And yeah, like I said, I'm so inspired by you and I'm behind you, and I feel very honored to have shared your story on the podcast.
Thank you, man. I'm very grateful. I love everything that you're doing, mate. I'm very, as I said, appreciative you give me the time to share this story. And for anyone listening, I just want you to just chase goals. Just don't be afraid of failing. And who knows what the fuck you can achieve. Just because you're in a low point in your life right now doesn't mean that you can't be doing something incredible in 12 months' time. So, as I said, I'm very grateful. Donations link is in my Instagram bio. We're trying to raise $20,000 for this mental health charity, which is going to do a lot of work in terms of funding psychology sessions for males. We have a lot of merch and things like that promote the message of it's okay not to be okay, just to get that saying out so that people can look at that and actually be like, yeah, fuck, okay, it is all right that I'm going through something. And yeah, I'm very appreciative, my friend.
Mate, I'm all behind you. You're a good man.
Thanks,
Cheers.
brother. Appreciate it.